Welcome back everybody to Moderate Mods, and today we're dealing with the 1960 Aston Martin DB4 GT Zagato. So yeah, this is a classic car in every regard, in terms of its engine, in terms of its style, in terms of its performance, but it isn't flaw free, as we'll see as we get around the circuit for a few laps. But yeah, it's still a great car in its own right in a lot of ways. But yeah, there are always room for improvements, especially from a car that is 60 years old. So yeah, let's get up to the circuit and see what the best time we can get out of this car around this circuit can do. So yeah, we're in B class, so it's probably one of the higher classes that we've had on this series so far. But that doesn't mean it's the quickest of things. As you can see by the acceleration, it's pretty poor, which is in a lot of ways down to the gearbox and the fact that it doesn't have the best of launches. But in terms of horsepower and torque, it's pretty decent. As you can see, 314 horsepower, 278 pounds-feet of torque from a 3.7 litre inline 6 engine, so it's pretty sizable in terms of its engine, and it only weighs 2,701 pounds, and it's nearly 50-50 weight distribution as well. So in a lot of ways it is a properly good sports car. But yeah, as we'll see as we get into the race, it's not quite as quick as the numbers would suggest in a lot of ways. But yeah, luckily, because we're now on this Xbox Series X with this game, the loading times aren't all that long anymore. So yeah, get into these races a little bit quicker. But yeah, the launch is really rather bad. I think it's because of the gearing, whether or not it's because it's long, or it's just not got the right setup in some regards for a quick launch. But once the car does get going, it is really rather nice and quick, although the brakes could be obviously better, and it does have a fair bit of body roll. Again, that's typical for a car from the time. But yeah, like I said, once it gets going, it's reasonably quick. But yeah, not quite as quick as you'd expect for a car with more than 300 horsepower and not weighing all that much. It's still got a really nice sounding engine, which revs decently high, not as high as most inline 6 engines from today would, or even later in the decade that this car is in, but still decent enough. It's hardly a low revving and lazy engine. And being a Zagato is why this car looks as great as it does, while being also as light. They had a lot of expertise in making lightweight, fantastic looking cars that are based on original vehicles. So yeah, our first lap time there of 1 minute 15.976 is reasonable. Let's see if we can do any better on this second lap. Brakes are equally quite sharp, but not very good at slowing the car down. I imagine they're drum brakes. Can't quite remember, to be honest, but yeah, they're not the best that a car like this really needs. So they're definitely one area that will be upgraded. Got a fair bit of understeer as well. Then again, it does have more weight up front than it does at the rear, so that's probably why. But a massive increase in our time there at 1 minute 7.484, no doubt because it's not having to have that really rather awful launch that we had on the first lap. Let's see if we can improve any more on this final lap here. The fact that we're keeping up with a modern day Audi though is really rather impressive. Obviously we're lighter, but we have anywhere near the same horsepower, and even if we do, that car's got all-wheel drive, it's got better tyres, better brakes, better suspension, and it's turbocharged as well, so and the gears when it's in the right gear at the right revs, it's just going to fly away. We are keeping up with it. Obviously the goal of this series is not to beat the rivals or whoever we're going up against. But it is interesting to see that we are keeping up with a car that is far newer. In fact, we've actually beaten. So yeah, there we go. I actually accidentally clicked that then. We'll see the time in a second though. It will tell us another rival we want to go up against, and we'll just minus the time from that. Oh, so yeah, there we go. 1 minute 6.633 seconds is our final time there in on that third lap. So yeah, that is really rather quick, but it undoubtedly can get quicker. So yeah, let's get to the garage and see what we can do. Now, because of the loading times on this new console are quick, we don't have to do any editing or anything like that. So let's just go straight to there. We'll take a look at the car, and then we'll take a look at the acceleration times and top speed. So yeah, this is the car in all its glory. It is a fantastic looking vehicle, easily one of the best looking Aston Martins out there. But as you can see, it does have some racing aspects going for it, as you can see by the boot there, having a fire extinguisher and the like, and it's obviously got some roll cage modifications on the interior as well. So yeah, it was effectively a racing GT car of the period, but yeah, it can definitely be improved. So let's firstly take a look at the acceleration time. So 0 to 60 in 6 seconds, 0 to 115 seconds, and it going to a top speed of 172 miles an hour. But yeah, those acceleration times can obviously be better with that launch being improved, and even though it does have that top speed, it would be quite scary getting up to that top speed with these brakes and suspension. So yeah, let's get improving the car. Let's do the brakes first. So we'll make them sport brakes. We'll give it some sporty suspension. We'll give it some racing front and rear anti-roll bars. We don't really need to lighten it up, to be honest. It is already quite a lightweight vehicle. We'll give it a sport clutch, a sporty transmission. As you can see, this transmission there shoots up the acceleration and the launch just by giving it a sporty transmission. It'll go up even further in a race transmission, but race transmissions on the road really won't work all that well. We'll give it a racing driving line though to knock out £14, so we're already down to 2653. We would be if we actually bought it. And we'll give it some wider front and rear tyres. Not too wide though, I think we'll just go for 275s and 225s at the front. Hopefully help that understeer. Power wise, well, it's got a decent amount of power, but it can have a little bit more to really make the most of that gearbox now. So we'll bump it up to a 4 litre inline 6 now. It's not a massive amount extra over what the standard car was, but it is obviously more. We'll give it a sporty intake. And we'll give it some sporty valves. Yeah, sport valves. So it goes up to 350 horsepower and 310 pounds-feet of torque, which is again still pretty damn good. And we'll give it a sporty flywheel as well to knock off a few more pounds. And yeah, that's it. You can actually give it back the original bumpers that were taken off by Zagato, but as you can see, it does add a fair bit of extra weight, an extra £18 for the front one, and another £18 for the rear one, so you're talking about an extra £36. We can actually also put a new hood on, which, considering it's a larger engine now, would need some extra breathing room to be honest. So yeah, we'll give it that, and that knocks off another £5 as well. We don't often do visual touches on this series, but something like that makes sense. So let's install the setup. So yeah, we're up from 314 horsepower to 350. We're not got a massive weight reduction. We're only £2,678 over 2,701 that we were originally, so it's only a £23 weight reduction, but the extra power will take advantage of that weight. So let's install them, and let's take a look at the acceleration times, see if they've been improved by a significant amount. So yeah, 5.762 seconds out to 60, so not a huge leap in terms of acceleration time there, but just the fact that we'll have a better launch will also help. 13.416 seconds to 100, so we're more than 1.5 seconds quicker to 100, so that's definite improvement. And we'll now do 175 miles an hour, so a few miles an hour quicker at the top end as well. So yeah, all very good there. So let's get back to the circuit and see what this car can do. Again, loading times are quick, so we don't need to do any transitions here. So let's get to the circuit. Yeah, the loading times are massively improved, as you can see. If you do have this game on a standard Xbox One or One X, then you'll see the difference if you try and do the same kind of things that I'm doing here. Accidentally went in A-class there. Alright, so there we go. There the stats, as you can see, far better in terms of acceleration and launch. Braking and handling is improved as well as speed. So let's see if we can do any better. So we were 1 minute 6.663, I think, or something like that. It will tell us on here anyway. Tells us the time to beat, and we'll get ahead and beating that. So yeah, better launch, not massively improved, but still better nonetheless. So yeah, 1 minute 6.633 is what we're going to be beating, trying to beat anyway, from the standard car. Definitely tell there's a difference with the handling already. Very minimum, or pretty much no body roll now. Understeer doesn't seem to be as much of a problem either. So it seems to be a bit more of a sharper vehicle to get around corners. Its brakes are far better as well. Plus obviously the fact we're a little bit lighter as well will also help the braking. Turning is better as well. We've got far less understeer on the go. And a time of 1 minute 10.904. So that's about 5 seconds or so quicker than we were in the stock car on its first lap. So yeah, clear improvement there. Crucially as well, the engine still sounds good, even though we've obviously upgraded it a little bit. But we've only given it an extra 36 horsepower, so it's not massive amounts of upgrades. We've only enlarged the block, changed the air filter, and given it some sportier valves. So we've not exactly upgraded the cams or anything like that to give it a higher rev range or anything. So it's not a radical departure. Still in keeping with the spirit of the car, with its still naturally aspirated inline 6. We've not swapped the engine out or given it a turbo or supercharger. So yeah, it's still broadly the same as the stock car, but just given a few modern touches to improve it. So yeah, and that has improved it massively. 1 minute 4 seconds .047, so more than 2 seconds quicker than the stock car. Let's see if we can improve further on this final lap. Doesn't feel like it wants to break away in terms of traction or anything like that as well, despite the power and torque increase. Yeah, absolutely serene to drive. Not really had to do anything to it at all, really, in the grand scheme of things, especially considering what we could actually do to it in terms of engine swaps and drivetrain swaps and making it even more lower and lighter. So yeah, mega improvements all around. And there we go, 1 minute 3 seconds .146, so more than 3 seconds quicker than the stock car, which is a massive improvement all around. Where's the pub gone? I lost my way. Maybe it's down here. So yeah, it's down here. time flies when you were having fun and then you can't realise where you were originally parked up. But yeah, more than 3 seconds quicker is a big leap in terms of the time. And yeah, oh here we go, yeah, I forgot, sorry. So yeah, massive improvement in the time, and not just an improvement in the time but also an improvement in terms of the driving that this car can now do. It's got better turning, it's not got the understeer that it used to have, it's got slightly better launch and acceleration, and yeah, slight decrease in power in weight, but not by a massive amount, certainly not enough to mean that you're stripping out original parts or anything like that, but yeah, a decent amount of weight reduction. And then obviously the extra power and torque to make the most of that lesser weight. So yeah, cracking car in stock form, and yeah, made somewhat better in this slightly modified version as well. So yeah, love this car. If you haven't ever driven it, then get out there and try it out, because it is a great car from the period, and it's easily one of my favourite Aston Martins. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.